Hello and welcome back to my channel. Tonight I'm going to share with you the filament loader version 2.0 and it has been made to fit on a Microswiss extruder. This one I've been asked about several times if I had one available for it. Well, it took me a few extra days to get it built and designed just because of some of the modifications I had to make, since the Microswiss is probably the smallest of the mechanisms I've worked on, so it's laid out a little differently. I could not put the clamping arrangement as most of the extruders I clamp onto the swing arm, but in this case it's designed differently, so obviously had needed a completely different approach to mounting it. This one bolts completely between or through the mechanism, so there's the back plate of the unit's extended and it bolts, the extruder bolts through it, through the, in this case, just a piece of metal that represents your printer or the bracket that it mounts to, and then the stepper motors behind it. So the only difference with this one is you will need longer screws than the factory screws. These are M3 by 8mm flat head screws. You'll need to switch to 10mm in length or 12mm in length, depending on the thickness of the bracket that's the factory bracket on your printer, or the chassis of your printer, how thick it is. The other thing that may or may not affect you is the knob may not have enough motor shaft sticking out in order to accommodate the nut. As you can see, this one barely sits on there. It's because of the extra thickness of the mounting plate. So it, like I say, it may or may not work for you. One other thing you might want to do is, since they have this little hole right here in the extruder swing arm, you might want to put a ring on it or something, because obviously it's a little close. You can pull it back, but you have to pinch it pretty tight or pretty close, just because of the body of the filament loader. So, but right now I just want to show you how it works. As with all the others, how simple. It's just a spring-loaded mechanism that will bring your new filament roll in without having to modify your firmware or make any changes to your printer. It's simply a bolt-on device that allows you to get your next roll of filament started without having to be there to as the old one runs out. So right now you'll see there's a filament right here, represents the filament that would be already on or running through your printer, and it's going through the mechanism down through the extruder. Then in order to have a new roll, just push the button in, put the new filament behind it, and as you can see, this one's been straightened out a little bit. It's normally they're a lot more curved, especially if little pieces left over. They're going to be tighter radius because they were tight on the spool. So anyway, you just insert it behind the existing filament, let it stay in this groove that you see right here, let go of the button, raise the swing arm up, and now the unit's primed to load your new filament. And I'm just going to activate an extrusion real quick so you can see how that thing works. So now you see the old filament or the existing filament coming through. I'm just keeping a little tension on it so it doesn't drop out when it gets past the extruder wheels. And there you see the new filament came in right behind the old filament. So it works very well, and I hope you guys all like it and want to add it to your printer. So as usual, thank you for watching, and please subscribe.